Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland, and today is headlines. Headlines for the week of November 11th. Today is November 14th, Thursday, November 14th. It's kind of crazy how quickly this year has been going, at least from my perspective. It's going to be Christmas and Thanksgiving, and it's going to be 2025 in no time. Crazy. A couple show notes. I'm going to have Britt Kimball on. She's an occupational therapist with Encompass Health. And I know her. She's local here in Arizona. I know her from her many programs she puts on for amputees, whether it be a support group and some activities like bowling and golf and other things. Can't wait to talk to her. That episode is coming out next Tuesday, which will be the 19th. Again, I can't believe it's this far into the year. And just as a reminder, the last show that went live was with Susan Fumagalli, who had osseointegration. So if you're interested in osseointegration, learning more from her perspective, from someone who's had it done, I urge you to listen to that episode that came out on November 5th. And I want to talk about another episode. I'm just going to go back to the Wayback Machine here because I'm in season 5 episode, gosh, I don't know, getting into the 20s. When you put them all together, I'm getting very close to 100. So I want to go back into the archives and talk about some of the people that have graced me with their presence on the podcast and done such a great job. And one of those is Felicia Robinson. She's from Cut Above the Knee. She had her right leg, I think it is. Let me take a look. She became an amputee on March 16th of 2023 after suffering complications stemming from a blood clot in her right leg. She came out with a website called Cut Above the Knee, and she is a wealth of knowledge. I still reach out to her from time and time again just to say hi, see how she's doing. She is incredible. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to reach out and get her back on because her story, I'm sure after, gosh, this is probably about a year and a half ago that we recorded her podcast. I'm sure she's learned a lot. She has more to share, and I'm sure she's doing more great things. That's Felicia Robinson, Season 2, Episode 9. Go to we'renotstumped.com. So easy to find. Go to episodes, click lower limb amputee, click amputations from medical conditions. She's listed in both of those. That's the thing about the website, which, by the way, I'll give myself a hand for that one. Just kidding. I only have the one. But I do my own websites. And the reason why I have the episodes listed the way they are is so if someone like me, who's an upper limb amputee, needs to find out more, hear more stories that are really just centered around that journey, you can find it easily. Same with lower limb, same with people with accidents, quad, whatever your journey is. Of course, you can look at, and I'd prefer if you listen to all the episodes. I think it'd be great if you did that. But if not, they're easy to find your journeys. Go to we'renotstumped.com. Find everything. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Follow me on all this stuff. Follow the podcast on all this stuff if you so could. And remember, here's something else. On the homepage of the website, you can get stickers for $5. It just kind of helps me support the podcast. And it says, I'm not stumped. $5 shipped to you. They're cool little stickers. But I don't have any right here, do I? No, I do not, unfortunately. But they're on the homepage. So go check that out. Do me a favor if you could and buy a couple. It would be much appreciated. So thank you. So let's get to the headlines. And this is going to be a little quick today because the first one, this is kind of interesting. I stumbled across this story, and this is from Lake City Reporter, and this comes courtesy of Tony Britt. But it's a there's a paywall there. And I've done a lot of research to find out a little bit more about this young kid, I should say, certainly a lot younger than me, who went through a tragic accident, and I can't find anything. I want to support him, and I want the listeners to support him, but I can't really find anything. So here's the headline: Fundraiser aiming to help young amputee. And let me get into the story. Davik Kasper, and I hope I'm saying that right. I can't find anything more about this person. It could be David Kasper, was involved in a side-by-side ATV crash back in August. That's in August of this year, 2024, necessitating the amputation of his right hand. And this young man is a football player. So there's some fundraisers, I guess, that have been set up. But, I'm a person without a right hand. So for me, I'd like to be able to reach out to him and see what I can do to help him however I can. But again, just trying to get this story out. Whatever support he needs from the great community we have at We're Not Stumped, I'd love to be able to learn more about it. I can't direct you anywhere. So if you are in Florida and know Davik Casper and or David Casper, please have him reach out to me, or please have him reach out to We're Not Stumped so I can direct people to the right place to help support him. So getting back to it, here's what the story says. A set of fundraisers are being organized to help cover Casper's medical costs. And then this is the only line I can find. And then it's the paywall. A local youngster who was involved in a crash that resulted in the amputation of one of his hands still harbors dreams of playing high school sports, and his family as well as several. That's all I get. So please, anyone in Lake City, I think that's the actual town. If anybody knows Tony Britt from the Lake City Reporter, if he can give me some information, I'm not trying to circumvent. Maybe I am to a certain extent, circumvent the paywall. I'm just trying to help this person out, though. That's the whole meaning behind this. It's not to, obviously this person's a reporter. They need to make their money. I get it. They have to earn a living. I just want to help this amputee out. However, I personally can, and certainly by passing along anything I can to help my listeners understand what he's going through. So that's all I got on this. Davik Casper, or David Casper, who has lost his right hand in an ATV crash in Florida. Anyone out there know a little bit more information, please pass it along to me. So that's headline number 1. Headline number 2. Oh boy. This is interesting. Review into the amputation underway after patient says wrong leg was removed at Grace Hospital. And this comes courtesy of Josh Crabb. And I don't know exactly where this is because this is on MSN.com. So I don't know exactly where this Grace Hospital is. I think somewhere in the States. So let me just give you a little excerpt of this story, which is, it's so unfortunate. A patient's safety review is underway after a 48-year-old man went in for an amputation of his right leg at Grace Hospital, but came out of the procedure to find out his left leg below the knee had been removed. Jason Kennedy, a former commercial fisher, knows he may eventually lose both legs, but said his right foot was in worse condition due to a bone infection. And that's what he lives with. And he said that's the one his doctor at a different hospital told him he would have to have amputated. And here's a quote from him. Coming out of the anesthesia, and when I woke up from my bed in my recovery area, I was in disbelief that they took the wrong leg, Kennedy said. I knew for a fact they did take the wrong leg. I can't even imagine waking up like that. I remember when I had cancer surgery, and I remember waking up from that, and you're just kind of in a daze. And I'm sure everyone who's had major surgery knows that. And then he looked down and saw the wrong leg taken. That's so unfortunate. Kennedy, to get back to the story, Kennedy, who has been living in Winnipeg but is originally from Bloodvine First Nation, said he went to Seven Oaks General Hospital on October 23rd because of pain and bleeding in his right foot. He said the amputation at Grace Hospital was ordered on October 28th and took place on Halloween on October 31st. Kennedy said he was taken from Seven Oaks to Grace before 7 a.m. that morning. He said it wasn't until after the amputation that he found out his left leg, was removed. I was just wondering if this was a bad dream. Gosh, I bet you thought so, yeah. The pain is still in my right foot, and it's there now as we speak. A spokesman for the Winnipeg Regional Healthy Authority said in an emailed statement, patient confidentiality limits the amount of information it can provide in this complex clinical situation. Here's a quote from them. We're aware of the incident and the distress it has caused the patient, their family, and the care providers, the spokesman said. Members of the care team have personally met with the patient to offer their sincere apologies and discuss next steps. I don't know how you apologize for that. That's a tough one. The incident is currently under review by our patient safety team to identify potential system learning opportunities. The result of this review will be shared with the patient once complete. Kennedy said his surgeon and 2 other colleagues apologized to him. And I'll link to this story. If you go to MSN, you can just type in probably wrong leg amputated and find it. But again, I'll link to it in the description. But if you want to read more, again, it's on MSN. Maybe look up Jason Kennedy, amputee, amputation. I'm sure you can find out about it. That is an absolute shame. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Jason. I mean, they apologize to you. I don't even know what to say. It's, hey, you know what? All of us at the We're Not Stumped podcast, all of our listeners, all of the people who've been on, I'm sure I can speak to all of us, for all of us, in saying that we wish you nothing but the best. Sorry to hear that. So I want to talk now about a organization. I started doing this last week, 2 weeks ago. Spotlight an organization. One I don't know too much about, but I do some research, do some reading. I'm like, hey, let's spotlight this organization. And this one is called AbleGamers, and they can be found at ablegamers.org. And I was, interestingly enough, I was in a conversation a couple weeks ago with someone, and they're asking me if I like to play, if I'm a video gamer. I'm like, no, I didn't grow up that way. And the reason why is because the controllers were difficult for me. You know, they didn't have different types of controllers back in the day. So with one hand, it was just like, I don't want to do this. You know, I can move all around, but I can't shoot anybody. Or, or I can hit the accelerator on the car, but I can't steer it. You know, those are the kinds of things that are going on with me when it comes to video games back in the day. But they have this organization now, and they've been around 20 years, which is fantastic. They're celebrating 20 years of changing lives. And here's their tagline: combating social isolation through play. And let me give you a little excerpt on them. AbleGamers has been creating opportunities that enable play in order to combat social isolation, foster inclusive communities, and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities for 20 years. Here's a little stat they list. People with disabilities are 51% more likely to be socially isolated than their non-disabled peers. And to get back to what they have on their website, you want people with disabilities to have rich, well-rounded lives that let them be the best selves and to have something to look forward to. Your support works every day to bring play to those desperately needing it, and we do it too at no cost to the people they serve, and they say we serve on the website. So really cool organization. Let me give you an idea what their focus is. And it says, our focus: play is a powerful weapon against the epidemic of social isolation. Play, specifically via gaming, gives people an accessible way to reach beyond the physical confines of their home, connect with other players all over the world. And they have 5 pillars. The world of games and gaming provides people with disabilities an opportunity to build rich social engagements, lifelong friendships, and connect with players who share similar experiences. Simply put, AbleGamers believes in using the power of play and inclusion to connect players, build communities, and combat social isolation. Again, they can be found at ablegamers.org, and here are their 5 pillars. Peer counseling, providing one-on-one guidance to assess player needs in order to enable play. Number 2, engineering research, creating assistive technologies that provide solutions to barriers to play. Number 3, community and inclusion, fostering opportunities for camaraderie to forge lifelong relationships. Number 4, user research, discovering barriers and solutions to facilitate accessible player experiences. And last but not least, professional development, guiding industry philosophies to promote an inclusive and accessible future. Again, they can be found at ablegamers.org. They have a lot of information on their site. They've been around 20 years. And I can tell you, again, from personal experience, this helps so much because, I wasn't able to really play games growing up just because of the controllers and things like that. Here's an organization that's making it better for people nowadays. I tip my hat to them. Great job. AbleGamers.org. Go support them. If you play games, you want to learn more. If maybe you want to take advantage of their services. They've been around, like I said, 20 years, and they're doing great things. So congratulations on 20 years to AbleGamers, and continue to do what you're doing because you're helping the community at large. So that's it for headlines for the week of, what did I say it was? The week of November 11th. And again, today is the 14th. I'm your host, Mike Bolland. Go to we'renotstumped.com. Find out all of our podcasts on there. Find the journey that best suits you, or listen to all the podcasts and they're everywhere. They're on Apple, they're on Amazon, they're on Spotify, they're on iHeartRadio, they're on YouTube. They're easy to find. Go out, go find them, listen. Hopefully they help you. The stories of others help you. And of course, I got to end it this way, as I always do. Have a great week.